Right, I thought I would explain in words how to use the algebraic play area, as I have given the instructions in writing, but that can be a bit difficult to decipher. So when you open the web page, it comes up in construct mode, which means it's ready for you to construct an expression. To make a circle, just move the cursor to where you want and click. To make another circle inside, click inside. To make another circle next to the one that you've just made, click in the space between the circles. To put in a letter, hold down the key and click. So I'm going to hold down letter A and click. Hold down letter B and click. Hold down letter C and click. Whoops, I've created another circle by mistake. To delete it, you just move the cursor inside and do shift click. When you've finished making your starting expression, you can change into transform mode. So you either click on the radio button down here, where it says transform, or if you like you can use the space bar, just press the space bar to toggle between modes. Now in transform mode there are essentially three kinds of move that you can make. You can select a letter or an expression by clicking inside it, and then you can wrap the whole thing up in a double circle. So I've selected A, and I do a double click and a double circle appears around A. And if I wanted to put a double circle around this expression here, which is B in a circle, I select it and then double click. I can undo this wrapping or unwrap by selecting the wrapped expression and pressing the escape key like that. And this one likewise, select, escape key. Now the next operation after wrapping and unwrapping is copying. So taking this letter A out there, selected, I can copy it into any enclosed space that A is outside of. So I can either copy it into that space or into that one or that one. To copy it, I select and then press the clicking key, so press it down and drag into where you want it to go. So that copied it into that space, and I'll show you to copy it in there. Select and then drag into there, release the button. That's called copying A. And just to give another example, I could copy this expression, AB in a circle, into that space. So I hold down the button, move the cursor in there, let up the button. Uncopying is essentially the opposite. So I pick A there, and because there's an A outside, I can move the A outside like that, and it just disappears. If I try to do the same with, say, B here, move it in there, press up the key, nothing happens because there isn't a B in this space. You can only uncopy when there's something waiting for you outside. So I can uncopy that expression into this space because a copy of it is waiting there. Drag it out, it disappears. And of course this A, I can select, put the button down, drag it out, and it disappears. So that's wrap and copy. The third allowed operation is delete and its opposite, undelete. I think for that I'll start with a new expression, so I click on this Start Over button. Do a couple of circles and a few letters, A, G and H. Now, delete is something you can do in a space that contains an empty circle. So there we have our empty circle. The space that contains it is this one that has A, G and H. And the rule is that anything that's in that space you can delete. You can just make it disappear. If you like, it's disappeared into the black hole of the empty circle. So I select A. Oh, I forgot to change mode. So Shift click to get rid of that. Change mode to transform mode. Select A and press the delete button on the keyboard. Select G, delete, select H, delete. Now, all these operations are reversible, so the opposite of delete, I call undelete, can happen in any space that contains an empty circle. So the black hole can not only eat things up, but can also produce things out of itself. So if we want to create things in the space there, we move the cursor into the space and holding down the insert key, click, which creates this dotted circle, or space surrounded by a dotted circle, in which we can create an expression completely freely. So if I do a couple of circles, G in there, G in there, a couple more circles, and I. And when I finish creating, I just press the enter button, and we can now move on to some other operation where we've succeeded in creating this expression in the space outside the empty circle. So that's wrap, copy, and delete. Well, since this is this whole expression is in a space that contains an empty circle, we can delete it. All gone. And unwrap. We're back to the empty expression, the void. There are a few things I need to add to what I've said already. First of all, any piece of empty space can be wrapped up. So if I set my mind on that little bit of empty space there, double click, we have a double circle surrounding a bit of empty space. And if I see a double circle with nothing inside it anyway, I can get rid of it simply by unwrapping. I select it, press the escape key, it's vanished. Let's just see this going on in a larger expression. So I go into construct, on in a larger expression. Let's put in letter A, letter B, circle. If I like the look of that bit of empty space and want to wrap it up, without selecting anything, I just go into transform mode and double click. Now, having done that, that enables me to do something else, which is to copy an expression into its own space. So this letter A, I can copy into the double circle and then unwrap it, and I've copied A into its own space. Let's do the same thing with H in a circle. First of all, do a double circle, select, drag in, unwrap. And obviously I can do the same thing in reverse. So to get rid of one of these A's, I first of all wrap it up, and select, drag out or uncopy, it goes, and get rid of the double circle by unwrapping. Do the same with these expressions, wrap it up, select, uncopy, unwrap. In fact, to save you a bit of trouble, I've made it so that you can copy an expression such as A into its own space simply by selecting it and dragging into the space. So there we have another copy of A. And similarly with B, select it, copy into its own space. To undo what we've just done, we do essentially the same thing, but holding the Shift key down. So I select B, drag it into the surrounding space, drag the cursor into the surrounding space, hold the Shift key down, release, and one of the copies of B disappears. And with the A, I select it, hold the mouse button down, drag, Shift key, release. We've got rid of the copy of A. The other thing I want to add is that it should be possible to wrap up not just letter A or letter B, but to wrap up both together. To do this we need to select A and select B together. So I select A and then add B to the selection by holding the Control key down and clicking. Now A and B are selected together. If I double click on them, and a double circle comes around them both. And similarly, if I wanted to copy A and B together into that enclosure, I select B, Control click on A, put the cursor somewhere on the selection, drag it into the circle, release, and A and B together are copied. I can't think of anything else to add at the moment, so I'll start over and say goodbye.